Who was it that said at Shinnecock, we lost the golf course?
That was Zach Johnson.
That was Zach Johnson, right? I think he should have in his interview said, we lost the crowd.
we lost the crowd.
Welcome back to episode 40 of the Loggerhead Golf Podcast. And we'll lead on with what seems to be our yearly conversation now is Tiger's back again.
Well, you know who's also back? You.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say bigger news, right?
Yeah, bigger news. Yeah.
Tiger. So.
Riviera this week, Tiger's tournament. I feel like there's always, I think this is now Tiger's only tournament. He's had the Hero's still going on.
Just don't let him drive a Genesis this week. Oh, wow.
We had to go there.
Well, so they made a comment like they delayed his press conference yesterday, and I was like, oh, I hope he wasn't driving. Is it sad that that's our first thought?
Wow. I mean,
man, them painkillers are tough.
How this is going south in a hurry.
No, it's I would say it's an elevated event this year.
I was going to ask you, how do we realistically expect him to play this week?
2 under.
Does Tiger ever come back fully healthy? Has he ever sat out so long that he came back fully healthy?
The answer would be no.
Yeah, no. He usually comes out way too early. People are like, why don't you just wait a month?
Yeah.
So we don't have to see you come out.
But I mean, it's an elevated event, so no cut. He's guaranteed.
No, whoa. Hold on.
Well,
there is a cut this week.
Oh.
It's top 50 in ties. But if you're within 10 strokes of the lead, you make the cut. So essentially,
so he's not guaranteed 4 rounds as long as he can physically make.
You
4
have to
rounds.
play very bad.
Yeah.
Let's just say to be those last 20 spots to miss the cut. So now Riviera is a tough golf course.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it is.
So that's why they're saying it's going to be very hard to miss the cut because the field's always bunched together.
Typically going to be pretty tight.
I mean,
What do you think? Tiger makes the cut?
I think he's going to shoot 2 under if he plays all 4 days. I think he's going to do his normal
I
Tiger
agree.
comeback thing where he's going to have a 4 under round, a 2 over round, or 3 over round, even par, and then maybe shoot 1 or 2 under on the last day.
I'd agree. I mean, he's been hitting balls. He's playing golf.
Oh, yeah,
the
for sure.
only reason why
he's been
he hasn't
practicing,
been
there's no doubt
playing
about that.
is he had to get a surgery to where his ankle is now fused dead straight. It cannot move laterally. Like it cannot roll around. It's been this way.
That might
the
be an
medical
unfair
doctor
advantage.
at Alabama did that because essentially they made it to where he needed to be able to walk. Now, his ankle's set, so like when he gets on uneven lines, like nothing's given, but at least he'll be able to walk 18 holes or however many holes he needs to play to do it. And he's just had to take time to, I guess, relearn a golf swing a little bit with it. And if there's one guy that knows how to rebuild a golf swing, it's Tiger Woods.
Or find a way to get it around the course.
Yeah. You know, because ultimately it's going to come down to, we all seen now, he hasn't lost speed. You know, now he has the new QI10 in the back. So we know the forgiveness.
I'll be able to hit more fairways now, right?
But I think, I do think he'll make the cut. I'm not going to go out on a limb and say he's going to contend.
No, I think that'd be too optimistic. How
He
did
made the cut last year.
I say, how did he end up playing at the Hero? What did he end up shooting there?
I think it's kind of like what Kyle said.
I think he went
around par and 1 under.
Yeah, he
somewhere in
was
there.
right around par
Yeah.
because he was all like one round. I think the first round he shot 74. The second round he shot 69. Then it was like 70. Then it was like 71.
So I think he'll do something similar. He'll have flashes of his greatness, and then like there's going to be a few holes here and there in a round where he's going to show the rust of having not really competed for a while.
Do we think now that Justin Thomas is playing in good form, kind of his comeback season, I guess, that they'll pair him with Tiger for first round?
Of course.
Most likely, yeah.
And then I think it'd be interesting if you paired him with Max Homa too, since Max Homa kind of owns the California swing, it seems, every year. That'd be a good
that'd be a fun
pairing
group. for
for Tiger to kind of ease back into it.
We also got to remember, guys. He announced yesterday he has a new caddy. Joe LaCava's on the bag with Patrick
yeah.
Cantlay, so
Yeah.
Tiger had to go out and get a new caddy.
Who's his caddy now?
It's Matt Kuchar's old caddy. I'm
yeah,
blanking
yeah.
on the name, but
the one that actually got paid.
oh, jeez. Oh.
Ouch, Kyle.
But now he said that this caddy's confirmed for like 5 or 6 events.
Yeah.
Hoping maybe that, like Tiger said, maybe the players in Augusta, right? So I was like, Tiger, did you just confirm to the players? So it sounds like Tiger's geared up to play. I mean, at least 6 events this year.
I mean, he wants to play.
4 majors and his 2 tournaments.
Plus, there's about 750 million reasons why you should play.
Well, hold on, because the PIP, the Player Impact Program, is influenced in that. Now, Tiger's done what in the PIP?
Oh, he's always led it.
He's always led it,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
he ain't got to worry about it.
But
That's why it's a great deal for Tiger. But I'm never gonna count him out because he's the best golfer in the world. So,
still,
huh?
Still,
he hit just like at the Hero, just at the tournaments he plays. He hits shots that some of the other guys just have no shot of hitting.
oh, I would agree with that. Yeah.
So, like, I'm gonna say ball striking wise, he's the best ball striker in the world.
I definitely agree with that.
But I think it'll be a fun week. It'll be a refreshing week, I would say, for the golf world.
honestly, I do hope Tiger plays well. It'd be fun to see him playing well and in contention. And then I think Riviera should be a little bit more of a traditional event, even though it is elevated compared to Waste Management.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Taylor goes in there and plays well.
Yeah.
I mean, what a showing he made. The reason why I was saying should be refreshing was the Waste Management a stain in the golf world this past weekend?
So there won't be a guy in a wedding dress at Riviera?
I will say that's an outstanding fantasy football bet. If that had to be the case,
Had to be, yeah.
Had to be. At least it was during a practice round.
It was the most viewed clip from Thursday.
or beer drinking cacti.
That one was pretty good too.
I don't know. It's almost as if the PGA Tour said, "Hey, Liv, hold my beer. We can show you how to have a rowdy party at an event."
Yeah, but I think it's gotten out of hand.
Yeah.
Me personally,
We sound like a bunch of boomers.
So what?
I don't think so. Saturday, I think they made a good decision shutting off alcohol sales for the first time, just because the amount of essentially people that were having to be escorted off property helped with basically because the conditions of the course were affected by weather, you had people falling, mix that with drunk people, and you get injuries.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like full on hearted like what we've seen in the past. I just think with the weather conditions, people were trying to stay warm and they were using beverados to do that. So it got a little bit heated with about 5 different PGA Tour players.
Well, I'm gonna say there's a lot of videos surfacing. One of Zach Johnson and 2 of Billy Horschel. Both of those golfers were seen earlier in the week talking about how they love being with the fans and interacting with the fans. And then you flip it around during the rounds, they're screaming at fans to shut the F up. Zach Johnson went full Karen on a fan. Don't sir me, and it was like, this is ridiculous. Just shut up. Yeah, and I'm going to say, I think the Waste Management Open was made to be a party on hole 16 and hole 16 only.
Right.
So fans heckling players in the middle of 7 fairway, 6, all the other holes, that's BS. Yeah, that's not what that tournament's for.
That's not what golf is.
That's not what golf is in general. And Billy Horschel made a saying because there was a kid that Monday qualified that's over the ball that every point matters for his career.
Yeah.
And he's getting screamed at in the middle of his backswing. And Billy Horschel was like, this is our job.
Yeah.
And now, again, Billy Horschel kind of a little bit of a hypocrite because at the beginning of the week you said you loved all that. You love bantering with the fans and things like that. So you can't have it both ways.
Bantering with the fans is one thing, but when you have fans screaming at you.
Yeah.
Well, in the middle of your
shot
routine, in the middle of your backswing and stuff like that.
That's where the tournament lost me because what at the end of the year, what's separating numbers 120 on tour to like 140?
Sometimes it's just a couple strokes.
It's like 2 or 3 shots.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I've been seeing a lot of things on X and Instagram, and they're like, oh, if players are being such babies, then don't show up. It's like, well, newsflash, you dumb golf fans that don't know anything. If these certain players don't show up, it's not an elevated event. They're not going to have a tournament. These are the only guys you got.
Well, I mean, this one wasn't an elevated event, but
it won't be again.
Yeah, I don't think it should. It doesn't really.
It should.
Who was it that said at Shinnecock we lost the golf course?
That was Zach Johnson.
That was Zach Johnson, right? I think he should have in his interview said we lost the crowd.
we lost
the crowd.
I mean, it's just. Did you see how much mud?
I mean, the place was
it's just an absolute disaster. I mean, people are like sledding on their bellies down grass hills and then shotgunning beers and
I'm sorry, but like hole 16's made to be a frat party, not the tournament. And all you accountants out there, 35-year-old accountants that show up that reliving your college days, like
but when you have
it gets old, man.
When you have
it
like
gets
100,000 fans a day piling into that place, I say we're more than that.
It's going to happen.
And they all want to go to 16. They can't all fit there, so where are they going to go?
I know.
Well,
they're going to go to the rest of the golf course, and they're going to have their own 16th hole party on number 7.
That's kind of my hot take on it. It's honestly part of the waste management's problem.
I agree.
It's only golf.
It's only
event
tournament organizers.
So this year, I think it was 18,000 seats were all hospitality only, meaning you had to purchase those. The seats on the tee box were $22,000 a seat for the general public.
Yeah.
And then general seating around the green, they only had I think 1,000
or 13,000.
1,000 per row, or I can't remember how they
I think
staggered
it was like 13,000 total.
But essentially, 30,000 seats were all hospitality taken, meaning you had to either spend
pay big money,
$20,000 for your ticket or be a corporate sponsor.
Right.
So where are all the normal people going to go that can't afford that? The rest of the golf course.
The rest of the golf course.
I mean, it's an event planning issue, right? Now, because I hate this because this tournament, what I love watching this golf tournament is exactly what this weekend showed. Amazing golf the last 5 or 6 holes.
It's always a fun golf course to watch golf on.
I mean, and it leads to great winners, right? We've had Brooks Koepka win it twice. Scotty Scheffler win it twice. We've had Matt Hideki, Ricky, right? So it's always a dramatic finish. And it's kind of, you notice like the last 2 years, they're essentially saying the fans are making this tournament. It's like, well, they're calling it the People's Open because of that.
Right.
But the golf actually supports it too. Like Zach Johnson said, the main reason why he loves to go play there, it's the first tournament back on overseeded Bermuda. It's great conditions, and it's a scoreable golf course.
Yeah.
That's why the players want to show up. They don't care what fans are there because they're playing for their livelihoods.
Yeah, they're playing for the money. But, I mean, like I say, that stretch of holes 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
As good of a
as
finish.
Good as it gets, yeah.
As good as it gets.
Yeah.
And that's where it's just like, I think.
Especially with the 2 par 5s, it almost makes you kind of reminiscent a little bit of like how the birdies and eagle possibilities of the back 9 at Augusta.
I mean, and you have an issue with fans and the event planning because, so I saw this morning, Scottsdale Police Department, Waste Management, Phoenix Open, and Bird's Nest. In 2022, they had 440 calls for service, 0 arrest, 90 ejections, and 14 trespasses. 2023, 558 calls of service, 18 arrests, 102 ejections, 41 trespasses. 2024, 653 calls for service, 54 arrests, 211 ejections, and 73 trespasses.
I mean, the fist fight was pretty fun to watch.
How many?
How many?
How
There's
many?
multiple.
So are we going to say that's okay for a golf tournament?
No, it
absolutely
shouldn't
not.
be. I mean, really,
We
it's
had a
not okay
lady
for any.
fall from the top of the
It's not okay for any
bleachers.
sporting event, period.
There was a lady that fell 20 feet
Yeah.
in the stadium.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, they didn't want you to hear about it, but and like they got picked on and hit pretty hard for stopping alcohol sales. But realistically,
Smart decision.
Smart decision.
it probably should have happened sooner. But I mean, that happened. They do that at all sporting events. Yeah. You know, like
Baseball.
baseball, they stopped selling at 17.
Seventh inning stretch. You
NFL
can't.
fourth quarter.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's like basketball
hockey
games.
is third period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not unprecedented to stop selling alcohol. In fact, I mean, it's part of their alcoholic beverage control. Is like they have to stop selling at a certain point because they don't want people basically buying an alcoholic beverage right before the end of a game and then walking out of the stadium with it.
Driving drunk.
Exactly, driving drunk. I mean, it's part of their liability. So,
And I will say, and this is where people are like, well, we're not letting a lot of people are letting the 1% influence their overall outlook on the tournament. Well, it's like, 653.
that's a very vocal
911
1%.
calls is that's a lot. It's a little more. And that's just a tough thing. I think it's a great tournament. It's a tournament I always watch. I always will watch it, but it's just like all the shenanigans have just gotten out of hand a little bit.
I say, obviously,
That was a good word.
We've kind of, yeah,
It's like Fargo. from
better
Super
than your
Trooper.
attempt at saying interesting.
What's that place again? Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
So we've talked a lot about kind of the party
God,
around
shit,
the golf.
McGavin.
But there was some good golf played at Waste Management. That.
Fantastic golf.
So like I feel like we need to talk about the golf, right? I mean, Charley Hoffman, where's he been at the last?
That's really what makes the tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Where's he been at the last 8 years? I didn't realize he's still playing golf on the PGA.
Dealing with back injury,
Yeah.
2 bulging disc. I will say that was an elite camera when they saw him warming up before the playoff with the heater on, and that's why I immediately sent it to my dad.
Get Steve one of those.
No, it was it's you haven't won in 8 years. You hadn't been in contention
Right.
in like 5.
I was really pulling for him.
For him to that 2-putt on 17,
That was
almost hole
That was
it?
a hell of a first putt. Yeah.
to almost hole it.
Because like they were talking about, he'll be doing good to get within 5 feet. Damn, he almost made it.
I mean, and then that T-ball he hit on 18 in regulation.
Smoked it.
What is he, the oldest man in the field and hit it the furthest?
Yeah.
Well, he's not the oldest.
Well,
Craig Stadler. Or is it Craig Stadler? No. His son?
Kevin,
That's right.
he was playing.
Well, he won.
Oh.
That was his one win on tour, so he gets an exemption each year.
Nice.
Right-handed golfer, he was putting lefty.
It's been done before.
Yep.
We've
But
seen weirder things.
I will say, like, Nick Taylor, though, just stone cold killer.
I was gonna say, he's an assassin, basically.
I mean, to step up birdie 15,
Yeah.
birdie 16. I know he hated parring 17, but you have to par 17.
But with the way that pin was playing,
You have
par
to
was a
par.
good score there.
Par was a good score.
You can't afford a 5 trying to make a birdie.
And then the birdie 18.
Yeah.
He birdied 5 of his last 6 holes.
Honestly,
I mean,
when he laid up on 15 and then got up and down for the birdie there on the par
he
5,
about made it.
right? And you kind of felt like he was always going to make 2 more coming in to tie that.
But it came down. He made a comment about how he lost his swing the front 9 and then kind of found it around hole 7 and 8.
Yeah.
And it just shows that these professional golfers don't have it all the time. They're one swing thought or one bad swing thought away from really playing really good or playing really bad and not knowing where it's going.
But when you're putting like the way he was, that probably gives you a little more confidence as well.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
Well, you look at the guys that won, what did they do the best?
Yeah.
They were number 1 and 2 in
Yeah.
strokes gained putting.
Good putting stroke can make up for a bad swing.
Yes, it can, right? And that probably adds into Scotty Scheffler.
I was gonna say,
Oh boy,
how long before we just admit it and say he's got the yips?
he's got the yips.
Do we need to bleep that out? That's a bad word.
I think the disappointing part of it is like what we talked about yesterday. He had 18 of 31 approaches inside of 12 feet
Yeah.
on ball striking.
Well, the thing
he
about
put
it-
on a ball striking clinic.
Thing about it, he hit a lot of putts that were right on the
He's
either lipped out,
he's been on a
roll
ball
over the
striking
edge.
clinic for 3 years. It's insane.
What I want to know, because every time they show Scotty Scheffler putting, he's always missing a putt, right? But what did he shoot in that tournament?
18 under.
He shot 18 under for 4 rounds of golf.
Yeah.
Where did he
that
make 'em?
front,
So
the front nine.
somewhere or
and
other,
crazy-
he made
made some
some
putts.
putts.
Crazy
right?
enough, like a few of the par 5s, he only birdied once or
I
twice.
say, let's face it. You don't shoot 18 under par making no putts.
That's
He made
why
some somewhere.
that's why strokes gained come out, because there is advantages to hitting it closer to the hole more often than not.
If you're not holding it out, you still had to make a putt. I mean, even though he hit it to a foot on 16,
That helped the score.
he still had to make that putt. Yeah. I mean, it still got to
The
touch the bottom
sad
of the
thing
cup.
is, and I will say, Kevin Kisner is so good in the booth. He hit that on 16, and they're like, "Oh, there's a birdie."
There's
And
one,
Ke-
there's
and
one
Kevin
he can't miss. I don't know about that. I was like, I've seen him miss these sometimes, you know.
Oh man.
Hell, I've missed that putt sometimes.
I was gonna say, I mean that putting stroke had enough loops in it that made Caleb's look straight back and straight through.
I mean, mine's not loopy; it's just hooked.
It's a little inside out.
Which hole was it that he 3-putted? That was a terrible 3-putt.
I don't even remember.
He had
now.
something to where because obviously he started out the round birding 4 out of the first
Yeah,
6.
because he had a couple 3-putts in the middle of the round. Didn't he?
Yeah, and then there was one putt that it was probably 3 feet, and the ball didn't come within a half a cup of the hole, and that's when you know something ain't right up there.
So there's got to be a bit of self-doubt creeping in, you know, to miss some of those short putts.
That's all
like
this
that.
game is.
Still
Could you
18
fix the
under.
stroke, Kyle?
Well, he's paying somebody a lot of money, and then they
you
slapped
think-
a super stroke on there and told him to get his arms real stiff. So
Do you think he needs a lab DF3?
I think he just needs to get away from the stiff arm, really wristy wrist. I mean, it's his stroke. If you look before he switched to the larger grip and a little bit longer shaft with that Scotty Cameron that he was using, his hands were able to rotate through the ball so much better. And now, to me, it looks like he's a stick figure holding a large grip. Which I don't like the change. I feel like now that he's made this change, he's being so technical, he's digging himself a bigger hole.
I mean, Daryl, we kind of talk about this, but I mean, how often do we say like people's personality needs to kind of represent their game, right? So what's his personality swinging the golf club? Like he moves it all over the place. Yeah. He's free flowing. He never finishes the golf swing the same.
You couldn't call him a technical golfer.
You couldn't call him a technical golfer. Then he gets over the putter, and you're exactly right. He looks like technical. A robot.
Yeah. Scheffler, go see Dave Stockton.
Well, exactly. But he needs to get somehow, some way, like flowing in his putting stroke. Like he needs to make sure he's moving or doing something. I didn't realize my hand hit it. My arm is numb, so I can't feel anything. He needs to do something to where he's just not set and stiff. He doesn't hit a golf ball that way. So, like, why are you doing it putting?
He needs to free it up. Honestly, I mean, go grab you an old, Wilson 8802 or something.
I wouldn't mind
do something different.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him do like that crazy little Billy Horschel setup where he shuffles from 5 feet away, then hits the putt. You know what I mean?
Do a little stutter step. Sneak up on it. You know?
Yeah, bingo.
Well, you don't want to scare it.
You don't want to scare it. Yeah.
I bet you money he's still going to win 3 or 4 times this year. Because once that ball starts going in the hole, no one has a shot.
Like I say, he shot 18 under for 4 rounds of golf. He made some putts still. It's just, we really only talk about it because he hits so many greens. You know,
proximity to the hole is incredible.
And he hits so many greens inside 15 feet where we feel like he should be making a lot more. But
he was number 1 in strokes gained tee to green.
He's still making his,
But I think we can probably, do we think, because like guys like Scotty, do we think Scotty Scheffler shows up to this tournament again? This was his 3rd year playing it.
Well, it kind of set his career off.
It did.
Once he won the Waste Management, he went on a tear.
Yeah.
So I think that's
got
a
back-to-back years.
Special spot for him.
I mean, it's just I feel like with this past year and kind of close out, I feel like a lot of the big names aren't going to show up anymore.
It's going to be hard with it kind of being squeezed between elevated events.
I think it was a little much this year.
Yeah.
I think the players actually felt it was a little much.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we had some big name withdrawals for this from the Waste
Xander, Victor, but that's because of the weather.
I was going to say, let's be honest though, they looked at the weather forecast and saw the.
Well, people say it doesn't rain in Arizona, and yet on the forecast on Monday they showed like rain. So
it rained, snowed, and held all within a 10-mile radius of the golf course.
Yeah,
yeah,
which is pretty crazy.
But we'll see next year.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't be surprised if Scotty Scheffler putts well this week. After we give him crap.
Again, hope he does.
So, well, I guess that leads us into what else was going on this weekend golf-wise.
Well, we were kind of
Las Vegas.
That's right.
Live Las Vegas. I say, what tour do we think's had the better start? PGA Tour or Live Golf?
In terms of like finishing stretch of holes, or
just in their
that was a very general question.
Yeah, so the events they've had.
I would say Las Vegas this week was better than Waste Management from a player and actual playing perspective.
Yeah.
And I think the PGA Tour won over the first Live event because it was kind of mundane.
So kind of neck and neck right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Rahm had
pretty good.
Rahm had some
I think you're
issues
comparing
with
scoreboards.
And well, I was going to say, that's the ultimate thing too, is, how did the superstars of the tours, how have they performed so far?
Nick Taylor saved the tour this week. Because he's won 6 times.
He played great, but let's
be
be honest. How many people turn on the TV to watch Nick Taylor play golf?
Yeah. Hey, every Canadian in America.
I doubt that. I seriously doubt that. I seriously doubt that.
They were chanting, "Oh, Canada."
All right, fine. But DJ won, right?
Yep.
I was going to say, like, the superstars on Live have played well so far.
Yeah.
Right now,
if we're comparing leaderboards, world ranking point, like if anything, the first 2 weeks with both tournaments prove the official world golf ranking is irrelevant.
Right.
It's not. I was
going to say,
what's the kid that came straight out of college on Live?
Caleb Surratt. He top 10'd again.
That's what I'm saying.
Like
I feel like Liv's had a better start. Sorry.
Yeah, I feel like Liv's players have had a better start. I would say event wise,
We're not. The views are.
It's kind of irrelevant, but Rahm didn't really like the music on some of the holes at the last LIV event at Las Vegas. But
I will say, you can't complain about the music on LIV, but think waste management's acceptable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
all golf media that tries to say that's the comparison.
I mean, LIV's got music on every single hole.
Yeah,
like
just about.
Every tee box or whatever.
They're essentially their premise behind it's white noise.
Yeah, it's ambient noise.
Yeah,
but I would say to me, like so far, Scotty Scheffler on the PGA Tour, obviously he top 5 at the waste management at the American. He played the American Express, didn't he?
I can't remember.
No,
he didn't.
No.
Okay. Anyway, he's top 5. Justin Thomas has had a couple top 5s, but like the big names haven't broken through and won yet. We've had some story.
Well, think about the elevated event last week.
Yeah.
Right at Pebble.
Yeah. I mean, it got cut short.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Wyndham Clark. But it's just the tough thing because I feel like they're squeezing. This is now our 3rd elevated event in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
There's only 8 elevated events, 10 elevated events total. So it's like, how spaced out are they going to get?
I was going to say, this stretch feels really compressed. But
do we feel like there's too many events?
Maybe, at least elevated at least. Every week becomes, this is the biggest week of the year. Yeah, well, none of them are the biggest week of the year then.
I think it's amongst just not only golf, but in general, baseball, football, basketball.
Basketball, yeah.
The seasons are getting longer and longer. And what is it? Why? Money.
Entertainment. Yeah, money.
Sponsor money.
I think if we say the season's too long, then like what we've hated the tour on for elevated events, like we're kind of like 180ing a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the tour wants you to think that. That's how they're justifying these elevated events for the top players in the world because they're like, we only want the top players to play. I think now the new minimum's 15 events.
Right.
Well, if they're already guaranteed 8 of them, all the majors count towards those.
That's 12.
I mean, that's 12. Then players have to play in, Sony Open, so that's 13. I mean, or not Sony Open, the Capella.
Yeah.
It comes down to the PGA Tour wants you to think that there's too many events so they can justify having all these
special events.
Yeah, special events, but also the bottom tier events, the Puerto Rico, the things like that. Well, the Myrtle Beach this year. I mean, this Myrtle Beach is going up against a elevated PGA Tour event. So I think what the PGA Tour needs to do, since they have room now to change, they have money, right?
Yeah.
Is they need to decide, do we have kind of like high school and college golf? Here's your starting 5 tournaments. Then we also have tournaments for the other guys, right? Elevate the Korn Ferry Tour. Pour money into it and put all these second events, something like that, to where guys are still playing for good money, but they're playing to qualify to get into the big events.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because right now, you're exactly right. When we're putting all these little events in between the big ones.
They get lost track of a bit, for sure.
But I think, and it's going to be interesting to see because I think eventually LIV players will be allowed to play on the PGA Tour again.
I think there's a path back for them at some point. I don't know what that is yet. But and kind of going into that, how do we continue, or how do we adjust the world ranking system, the world golf ranking system to accommodate
what
this?
Was Dustin Johnson? I think he was like 300th in the world.
Yeah, clearly not the 300th best golfer in the world.
No.
Yeah.
Right. There's got to be some way to rank the golfers across essentially 3 tours now. Well,
what was it last week? Wyndham Clark moved up into the top 8. He moved up 5 spots. Joaquin Niemann won and moved back 4.
Right. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense. And for the people that say these guys chose their fate, and they got to deal with the consequences, it's like, okay, that's sure. You can say a statement like that. But the official World Golf Rankings mission statement is a scale to judge the best golfers in the world. Well, there's tournaments being played.
What I was going to say
what more parameters do you need?
The world of professional golf is changing. Yeah. So the world golf ranking system has to change to accommodate that.
Yeah.
And so far, they've seemed to have wanted to just kind of ignore LIV completely.
Yeah.
But as we've seen with the first couple of LIV events, there's a lot of really good golf being played over there. And like those golfers deserve to be in that
big names are showing
top
up.
50 world golf ranking, some of them, right?
Big names showing up, and then you also have players that were big names on the PGA Tour that they're starting to get. Peter Uihlein, Matt Wolff, they both played really well.
Yeah.
I think golf's in a great spot, but it's also in a weird spot.
Yeah.
As far as the changes that could come or they won't. And that's just going to be the tough thing. And I know we can talk about this every week, but
Right.
we'll kind of. Y'all have anything to add to that?
I think the part that makes it tough is if you're going to create a universal, which we could have a whole podcast on how to create one, but
Well, technically speaking, we already have a universal golf ranking system. It's the official world golf ranking.
but
But it's just not ranking all the
thing
golfers.
is with LIV playing 54 holes, PGA Tour playing 4 days, is you treat it like a handicap, and out of the 4 rounds, you only take your 3 best rounds to create the world ranking.
No, I think to me it
If
doesn't.
there was no cut, then yes, that's the way you do it.
Yeah, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter because it's still a
As long as the
finish.
field's playing the same
As long
amount
as you're
of holes.
playing in the field you're playing against, you're all playing under the same rules, and that's an even competition. You know, if you're playing against a field of how many do they have on the LIV tour right now?
They have 60.
Okay, so if you're playing against a field of 60 players and you beat those 60 players, and then you're playing over here in a field against 60, 70 players and you beat those 60, 70 players, those are equivalent. I feel like.
Well, in that perspective, what happens, like what we've seen in majors, where you're 18 under for 3 rounds and then you shoot 7 over and lose the championship on Sunday.
That's an anomaly.
But-
That's not. You didn't play bad in that 4th round because you haven't been playing 4 rounds of golf. That's
Correct.
that's not what caused that. You just played a bad round of golf.
Well, yeah, that is a good
But it
question.
happens
That is-
a lot.
I will say this, though. That's a good question, but Brooks Koepka
I
essentially
say-
answered that question for you.
Because
Brooks Koepka then technically didn't deserve a chance. And what did he end
Yeah,
up
so
doing
he
in his
won.
4th round tournament?
Yeah.
He won.
I just think there's going to be more to it than it's going to be more complicated than just.
it really isn't though. But they're going to make it
Oh,
more
yeah.
complicated
I
than
agree.
it should be.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
So, does that lead us into show and tell? Do we hit all the topics?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. So, we're all wanting to go to the Waste Management next year.
I'll go. I'll go to people watch. You know.
That's probably
That's
what
actually a good point. Touche. Yeah. It's my favorite thing to do.
First comment before anybody says anything. It's not Sunday red. It's Sunday red.
Like sun drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 2 words.
Hell yeah.
What are our thoughts on this?
Big announcement last night.
It was
Big reveal.
Yeah, big news in the golf world.
Big news in the golf world.
Tiger's got a new apparel brand.
Yep.
partnered with TaylorMade.
Yep.
Yep.
So we got some big names in the golf industry here.
Kyle.
Shank. I don't care what anybody's opinion is on it. Honestly, I think it's
That's
gonna
why
be
it's
a big,
your opinion.
correct. I think it's going to be a big flop. I mean, in the left photo, you've got a patch that's not even centered with the button, let alone the actual cut of the shirt. The actual shirt itself,
It's a prototype. It's not freaking.
That's okay. When you're prototyping probably a $120 polo, that's made in the same factory as over 60 brands. You want to make sure that the prototype looks good. Because if you look at the hoodie looks fantastic, other than the logo. But the actual hoodie itself is nice. And then you look at the polo, which is his signature red polo that he's going to wear on Sunday. To me, it's a flop. I mean, the golf apparel industry is already flooded. You had the biggest name in the sports world, which is Nike, that had Tiger Woods apparel, and it flopped. They admitted it flopped.
Oh, they lost money every year.
So now
Yeah.
we're going to redo the same thing with the same manufacturer, but change the logo. Shank.
I've never worn Tiger Woods polos just because they didn't the cut. of
Neither
them.
have I. Yeah.
I think there's a great opportunity for the lifestyle apparel, like the hoodies.
Yeah.
Like the hoodie Tiger was wearing last night, and I would buy that hoodie.
To be honest, that's kind of what the TW line from Nike was always missing.
Yeah, that's correct. It was almost too performance.
Right.
It wasn't. I couldn't. And that's the thing.
was
I like
too
wearing
golf course
I
oriented.
like wearing golf apparel because I could also wear it to a bar or something
Right.
like that. I don't want to feel like I'm.
I can wear it in ways other than just to the golf course.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, and so I think But the first showing of the stuff, I would have to say Shank. Not because I think it's gonna flop, because I think it's gonna sell out. I'm just saying a Shank just because I don't like the logo. I really don't.
You don't like the logo.
I don't like the logo, and I don't like the name.
Yeah,
but I mean, it's Tiger Woods. I think the lifestyle stuff is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I also think it's cool that TaylorMade has a brand coming out with it too. So,
what are your thoughts, Daryl?
Team TaylorMade.
Yeah. Well, the logo for me as a flop is a Shank. I love Tiger. I've been a Tiger fan for a really long time. I just think that we could have come up with something a little bit more creative for the greatest player in our modern day history.
Well, the last logo was so good that we went from that to somebody.
The TW logo. You thought the TW logo was good?
Yeah,
I did. It's iconic.
Yeah,
it's like MJ.
I didn't like it.
I mean, it's like the Jordan logo. I know, but it's like the Jordan logo.
Yeah.
But clearly, we have now learned that the TW logo was owned by Nike.
Right.
So,
I agree with the statement that the lifestyle pieces are probably going to sell well. You know, I think that golf has changed quite a bit for apparel. I think that we've become more relaxed on the golf course. I think lifestyle pieces will sell. That's just a zero restriction jacket with Sunday red on it.
oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, every rain jacket's the same at this point.
I would
will
agree
say,
with Kyle that this, and I'll give him a little bit of leeway that this is a prototype, but God almighty, that's awful. I would never wear a logo right there below the buttons, like in dead center of your chest. I don't like it.
Well, and two, if look at the companies that
Caleb might because he unbuttons it. So
I was going to say, that might be perfect for
if
me.
you look at Bad Birdie Golf, Sunday Swagger, Waggle, like all these pop-up shops, they have a rubberized piece already right there, but it's actually centered.
Yeah.
Like, it's so bad.
You're so detailed.
I don't know. I say personally, we'll save the knocks on quality until we actually see it and get it in hand. But I mean, like, we don't really know what this stuff is. It's just a picture of it. I mean, it could be.
It's Tiger Woods, guys. It's going to be.
It could be just not fitting on the mannequin well.
It's going to sell out. It's going to be.
Yeah, I think quite honestly, I mean, from my standpoint, the golf shirts I'll probably never wear. It's just not the style of golf shirt I like. But that's okay. It's not for me to decide on that.
No.
The rain jacket, the outerwear they showed on there, I thought looked actually pretty good.
I think all the outerwear looks good.
Yeah, the full zip. They had a full zip rain jacket. I was like, that looks good. I'd wear that. The hoodies look comfortable. Look cool to me. This hot take, maybe everyone else is going to disagree with me. I don't like the logo. I think the name's kind of funny as well, too, breaking up Sunday into sun and day. 10 years from now, we're going to talk about how great that logo is.
After drinking a fifth of bourbon.
Maybe. I don't know. But it's going to age better than what we think. Right now, we don't like the logo, but with some time
to finish,
passing, I think it'll be better.
Who is the first golfer that gets signed to wear Sunday red other than Tiger?
I was going to say, I think Tiger. Charley Woods.
Charlie.
Okay, damn it. Stop. No family. First professional golfer.
Rory.
I'm going to say JT.
Hot take. No,
JT's
no.
part owner of Grayson.
No.
Yeah.
And Charlie's with Grayson.
I think there's something there. I can 100% see
Actually,
Rory McIlroy.
Rory could be a good guess. Yeah, with TaylorMade ties, too.
Actually, I will say this, too. I wouldn't be surprised because I know his contract's up. Brooks Koepka.
Yeah. Honestly, Scotty Scheffler.
Now let's just start throwing
Just
every
let's
bit.
say on that. But Scotty wears
Clark.
The shoes already.
Scotty wears Nike, you know.
But I
They
can
got
tell
to
you this
sign
much,
somebody.
They gotta sign somebody,
They got to sign
right?
somebody.
For X amount of dollars, I'd wear it, and that's
Right.
you know what I mean. Like, I think you're going to see with this is the players that are going to wear it are either going to get paid handsomely or there's going to be equity within the company to grow the company.
I say
Well, that'll be with TaylorMade.
Yeah.
TaylorMade owns.
right. I say I'm not going to be so harsh on them yet. I'm going to give them a par. I want to see actually some of the golf.
That's the
I want to
thing.
see some of the stuff in
I
hand.
want to see the
what it
first
actually looks
lineup,
like.
and we'll find out May 1st,
I'm
right?
probably
I'll
going to
say-
be eating crow next year.
And then let's see what the full.
As a TaylorMade staffer, you might be a Sunday red guy.
Yeah.
Sunday red guy.
It's online only.
But let's see what the full collection looks like as
I'm
well
definitely
too.
going to
Right?
have a couple of pieces of the apparel.
Yeah.
Got
You
to.
over here calling it a shank?
Well,
He said he was specific. He said logo.
I even said the
Yeah.
video was nice, and I hate
said the logo
all of
was
it
a
except
shame,
for the
but-
like I said, the outerwear.
Yeah.
So
it could grow on me though.
I'll say right now we're going to call it a par. We're lukewarm. I want to see the full
I'll go with
collection
that.
and see it in
I'll
hand,
go with that.
right? Before we truly say what we
I like to
think
see a
about
turtle up there.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Tiger turtle. This is right up Kyle's alley here.
Oh.
boy.
Yeah.
Well, it worked for 2 rounds.
It did not work the first round. The second and third, it did.
Yeah. I think what's kind of interesting with this, I'll give it a par.
Well, let's say what this is first.
It's a startup company,
Uh-huh.
which is now the second LIV player to use a startup company in 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, I think
Who's
he
playing it?
himself is starting it.
Sergio Garcia,
Okay.
which, like he said and his caddy said, I change putters like I change underwear. But I think what's kind of interesting with this putter is if you look at the face and how tall it is.
So he only wears 1 pair of underwear for a week?
I guess. I don't know.
If you
You'll
wash
have
it
to ask
every
him.
night. It's,
Wow.
It's just so unique looking. I don't personally like the look of it, but as we've seen with weird looking putters in the last 2 years, they
They've
seem
been
to be
working.
working.
Yeah.
So I think this could be something
Well,
to it.
the first thing I thought about is when I saw this putter, and you're exactly right, like how tall that putter face is. I was like, something tells me he was rolling. Well, he was playing with a lab, and he wanted a smaller profile or a rounder profile because lab is the only other putter that probably has the Mez has that tall.
What would be the advantage to that?
Acoustics, maybe, Phil.
I don't know. I mean, if he's essentially,
With a tall face on a putter? What do you think would happen?
you think he hits up on his putts too much, or
Well, what would have to happen is the strike of the putt, the CG of the putter would be striking above the CG of the golf ball.
true.
So that, therefore, in theory, we'd get a quicker roll on the ball.
Before roll. Yeah. Looks like the whole thing's made of carbon fiber.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fully carbon
It's
fiber
got a great
design.
name. It's called the Maker, right? It's got to make putts if it's called the Maker.
It's the Maker 3 degrees.
Well,
Golfer is the
yeah.
brand name.
Golf year.
Golf year.
A little
I don't
unclear
know.
on
I
how to
haven't put-
pronounce that Y.
Yeah.
But
Hey, we don't know how to pronounce anything.
fair enough. Fair enough.
It's true.
Yeah, I'll give it a par.
Give it a par.
I try anything once. Par.
Yeah, par. I'm right there with you. Yeah, if it makes putts, I'm all for it. But if it can fix a hook
This might
putter,
be good for you. It looks like the line right there helps like with path. And
nah, I
start.
think I could hook it still.
Oh, if you saw a few of his putts that first round,
Yeah. If it's getting
based
top,
off his ball strike, like he had a
listen,
Scheffler
if
week.
it's getting top spin on the ball, I'm gonna hook the hell out of it. We'll give it a par. We know how Nikki feels about grips.
You're setting me up. I'm gonna stay quiet.
This is
Oh man.
I think the football one's cooler.
Yeah.
the football one.
You see the one with the laces they do for the Super Bowl every year?
Yeah, you like it better.
Yeah.
I love customization. I think it's cool. Limited runs. I'd say birdie.
Give it a birdie.
Yep.
Lipped out for par.
Lipped out for par.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So it's a
that's
bogey.
how I would say. That's
It's
a
a
good
bogey.
point. Yeah. No, I would say
It's
a
creative.
birdie lip out par
Yeah.
score.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely like from a collectability standpoint. Like I think it's kind of a niche item, which obviously that's what limited releases.
I don't know
are.
how you're going to collect a grip though.
Well, I mean, they make these for Augusta. They do them. I mean, they do.
So
a
you
bunch
just
of
like-
They
them.
do. You could have bought this week.
I understand.
They
I
do
know
the
that.
They do the Halloween releases. People collect grips.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
but
mean?
you're just going to have a random grip, just kind
I
of.
mean, look at the
think-
Scotty Camerons.
I mean, I think the cactus up top with the flag. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So you got the keg on the
That's so-
side, the cactus, and
Yeah,
the
I think-
solo cups and the crush can. Like, I think it's a pretty cool design.
I think it's a cool grip. I wouldn't use it.
I said the
It
only
would
thing
be
that
on a
holds it,
putter in my office.
the only thing that holds it back is you can only use it 1 week. You know, you can only use it 1 week.
Unreal.
It's got a expiration date on it. I'm gonna give it a par as well too.
Nice.
We're gonna stay kind of in the medium on this one. Give it a par. It's a cool design, but it's got an expiration date.
Yeah.
Basically,
Dude,
yeah.
he doesn't know how to control his feet.
Yes. I came this morning. His feet are all over in my chair.
Deal with it.
Well, cool. Well, you guys let us know your thoughts on show and tell and your thoughts on the new Tiger line. We will catch you guys next week. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe and turn on those push
Telling you,
notifications.
people are gonna be loving that logo.